and LinkedIn, all spaces and places to create some impact today. And as many of you might have found out, I'm doing these lives almost every Wednesday as the schedule allows. And this is also recorded for my podcast, Courageous and Free with Jacqueline Mack. So if you are hearing this live, welcome. Let me know where you're listening in from. What are you celebrating today? And if you ask any questions, I will get to those at the end. So I have less editing in the podcast and look forward to hearing some takeaways. Once this wraps up, comment below, like, what did you learn? What are you going to apply today? What are you going to take action on? Because you can listen to it live. You can jump into webinars or go to conferences and take master classes and pay a lot of money to hear the information, but when do you actually apply it? When do you actually integrate it is what I call it with my coaching clients. So there's activations, like we get activated by something that happens to us, for us, words, things like that. But when do we actually take the action? When do we actually integrate now the new knowledge, right? So let's jump in. Today we're talking about the 4 of the 7 components of a solid sales call. I think I have a cat hair hanging out on my nose, so I apologize. So the top 4 of the the top 4 of the 7 components of a solid sales call. September has been my giving back for sales series because I know a lot of people who own a business, are a coach or consultant, have been struggling maybe their whole career or just this year. And here we are in September, and I'm telling you, you don't have to throw in the towel. I'm telling you, definitely don't throw in the towel. This is the time to double down and get really, really, really clear on what you want. And how can you be relentless and just up your game and master some skills to close 75% or more. And that's not including follow-up. That could be on a one-call close. So the 7 of the 4 components, I'm going to tell you that I am certain they will help you close at least 33%, which is actually a decent closing percentage, up to 75%. Disclaimer. So if you're closing 33% or 75%, if you're really, really good, that's like expert level, which I've done before and I've helped my clients get to, you're still hearing no, right? You're still hearing no, which means, are you in a good state of mind to hear the no, accept the no, and not let it ruin the rest of your day, or especially the next call that you're showing up for that prospect? I'm a huge believer in structure of a sales call than a script. And I can tell you the structure I have created for my clients, and this is the same structure I've taken into big multi-million, $100 million brands on the online space. This is online service providers. I've worked for over the top 7 in the industry and use the same structure and either implementing it to their first high ticket program ever, where they're hitting their first $20 million month. Right? It's so cool to be in the energy of that. Obviously, I didn't do that all by myself, right? But to experience that and to see what's possible, and now to see that same company years later have a team of over, I think somebody told me like 100 closers. 100, I can't even imagine 100 closers. And all of this boils down to, if you have this ick or sliminess feeling about sales, I invite you to change your relationship with that, because without sales, you don't have a business, right? And so you can definitely get away from the icky, slimy sales tactics that have been out there. And I know, because I've seen them. I've actually been taught them way back in the day. And I'm like, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't align. So I'm not going to use that. But thank you. And I can tell you, every script is missing one of these 7 components. Every time I jump in and work with a company as a consultant, and I come in and I really like kind of go through and do like an audit for their whole sales team as they begin to grow and scale, or with my one-on-one clients, every single sales script is missing either one or a few of these 7 components. And what that means is they're actually leaving money on the table. And more importantly, they're delaying or even preventing the transformations for the prospect to actually experience their desires and their goals and their dreams that they actually deserve, right? And it's sad if you really think about it, because when your prospects pours their dreams, their goals out on a call, and then they get very vulnerable and share with you their challenges that they probably haven't shared with anybody ever because they're either embarrassed by it or some shame or guilt, like, why haven't I figured this out yet? And you actually have a proven solution to help them overcome the challenge or challenges and experience their goals and dreams faster, but you don't because you're missing some skills. You haven't mastered some of these skills to help them over the finish line. So I'm glad you're here because the goal today is to help you overcome your challenges and helping people say yes and not regret it, right? You'll sleep better, they'll sleep better because nobody likes to feel gotten and nobody likes to go get anyone, right? How many of you would agree? So if your offer is a no-brainer offer, and you apply this structure, I'm going to give away 4 of these components today. If you want the other components, you're going to have to stay tuned till the end, and I'll tell you how you can get those. Again, with no ick, no sales sliminess. This is what we're all about. This is not just for business sales, even though that's where my 20 plus years of experience comes from. But this also works, get this, on your spouse, your kids, when you're trying to get their buy-in without convincing. Because let's face it, our closest loved ones can tell when we're trying to convince them of something, and that doesn't feel good. So that doesn't feel good with a stranger or a prospect either. So again, we're not asking for permission. We're just getting support. There's a difference. And it's a huge step in decision mastery when you empower your prospect with that new perspective. And that's your first big bonus tip for today. You can help them shift their perspective and give them permission that they're not asking for permission from you, from a spouse, from money, from a circumstance or a situation where they're giving their power away. Instead, they're standing in their power and their authority of a human being, a business owner, a smart person that has dreams and desires, and they have a no-brainer solution in front of them. How can they not say no? How can they not say yes? It's our job to figure that out before we what? Drop the money price. So first one I want to talk about today is structure over script. I kind of hit on this already. This is the one of the 4 components I'm covering today. Structure over script. Structure is greater than script every day, all day. You can have what you think is the best script in the world. If it's lacking structure, you're not going to close, or you're going to close in the lower percentage and definitely below 20%. I've seen it for over 20 years, right? Every single day. I wish I had someone to tell me this early on, because I was like, oh, it has to be the script. The script is great for new sales reps to see this is generally how a call would go or sound like. But when you take away the script and you focus on the structure, you're more authentic. You show up in your authority. People trust you. Your active listening has to be turned on, because at the end of the day, that's all that it is, right? Authority, active listening, quality questions, and then we overcome the objections along the way, or we help them say no because they're not a fit. I always tell people at the start of the call, I'm going to ask you some questions. Once I'm certain, we can help you, or I can help you. And then I'm going to show you how. And you love how, then why wouldn't we talk about what it's like to work together? But if I'm not certain I can help you, why would I even talk about the how? Or if I'm certain I can help you and then I show you how, but you don't love it, don't do it. Yes, this is solution sales. This is humanizing sales. This is like being able to sleep good at night, not just because I'm showing up to see how much money I can collect. This is I'm standing up for you in ways you've never stood up for yourself and helping you say yes and cross that finish line and having maybe your first breakthrough on the sales call. Yeah. Breakthroughs before they even pay me or they pay you. Are you able to do that? Do you have the skill sets? This is what a good structure will do. The second component I want to bring up today is authority. Authority. I just said that, right? Structure, authority, quality questions. Authority. This is your state. This is your tone. This is the quality of your questions and how you state your questions and the words that you're using. This is how you're staying in control of the call and not the person. And I'm a recovering high performer. I'm also a recovering people pleaser. I'm also a recovering control freak. So this is something I had to work really hard on to take my closing percentage from 30 to 40 to 50 to 75, because I was really good at people building trust with me quickly. I'm a likable person, but I didn't want someone to buy because they liked me. I wanted them to buy because they were in their power and they knew they desired the solution and they deserved it. Period. Not because of me. Because if I'm the closer and I'm not actually the person that's working with them, or I'm the business owner and I'm no longer closing and I have a team of coaches, and all of a sudden I'm pulling myself out of the closing role and the coaching role, this has to be something that can be trained in the structure of your sales calls, or you will not scale. I did this on the podcast last week, so go back and check this one out. I went all in on authority to give you all the tips on how to actually step into the state. And there's multiple types of authority states. And when you're coming from a place of humble confidence, I used to call this quiet confidence, but we can't be quiet on a sales call, right? But it's a humble. It's almost like people don't even realize how confident you are or how much knowledge you have, because you're not convincing. You're using conviction and a deep knowing of what's possible for them if and only if they truly want it and it's a priority. Somebody can tell you during the discovery phase how bad they want something and all the challenges they've overcome and how they're still overcoming challenges. But if it's not a priority and it's just a want and not a desire, are they going to invest? Probably not. But maybe it's because their perspective has blinders on. And if we're in our authority and we share with conviction, we can help them shift their perspective and take the blinders off. So that's the second one. Structure is greater than script. Authority is definitely right there second. And these are in an intentional order for a reason. Third one, active listening. I hope you're practicing this right now while you're listening to this, either live or on a replay. This will cost you thousands and thousands of dollars each week, if not per day. Eventually per day when you start to scale. And you'll be leaving so much money on the table. Active listening is the only way to truly understand someone and what matters most to them when it comes to their goals, when it comes to their challenges, when it comes to what they believe is possible or not. Active listening can be taught. Most aren't taught it, and most do not practice it. I'm a talker. I love to talk. I love to share. I love to engage. But what I've learned to love more is to slow down and really be present and listen and be curious. Active listening is being curious and understanding like certain words like, I think this is going to be okay, versus, yeah, this is what I want, and calling it out. What do you mean by you think? Interrupt, pause the whole call. Whoa, you just said, I think? I don't want you to do this if you just think it's okay. I want you just because you know this is it. And you've been praying for this. And it's finally here. And you finally had the courage and the confidence to hop on a call with me today. And wow, I'm inspired by that. I'm so glad you're here. Active listening, again, is the only way to seek to understand before being understood. You have to understand your prospect. It's not like, oh yeah, I did my research. I looked at my avatar or my ideal client and I understand this about them and this about them and this about them and this about them. Great. But now you're putting somebody in a general bucket. Nobody likes that feeling because we are all as unique as our fingerprint. So this is a very critical piece here for you to active listen as you qualify your prospect. As you really get to the root of, oh, I just want to feel better. I want to look better. I want to make more money. I just, that sounds good. What's good? What's feel better? Why? How long? These questions, and I have a whole list of them in a PDF that I'm happy to get over to you, because these questions aren't in scripts because people aren't thinking about how to go deeper and to understand. They're just like, I just need to know their problem. I just need to know their pain. I just need to know their doubt. And they go through and they get surface answers. I call it the quality of the squeeze will give you the quality of the juice to personalize the pitch. And if you're not getting quality questions, you're not going to get quality answers. If you're not probing to dig deeper, they're typically going to share. Now, this is not all the time. I can tell you can get on phone calls and there's some people you have to like pull it out of them and you're exhausted from asking so many questions. And there's others you ask 2 questions and they're giving you every answer to all the questions plus their history and their family and that's also where you have to stand in your authority in kind conviction and interrupt. And I teach my clients how to do that too without sounding like a pushy salesperson, right? All right, enough on active listening. I have so much more on that. Like I said, in sales codes, if you want it, let me know. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that here at the end of this live podcast. Here we are, right? Personalized pitch. This is the last one I'm talking about today. Because again, this isn't in a script. You go to someone's script and they're like, here are all the wonderful things we do in phase 1. Here are all the great things we do in phase 2. Here are all the great things we do in phase 3. Month 1, month 2, month 3. I have a beautiful map, a roadmap, 12 months of our program and our course and our coaching and all the things we're going to help you do to hit your goal, to help you get 10K months, to help you get $1 million month. Great. It sounds like cookie cutter BS. And here's the sad part, because I've sold this stuff before and helped clients make hundreds of millions of dollars. When I'm selling millions, I'm making bank. I also burn out twice trying to do that. 25K months, cash in my pocket. Awesome. All I had to do was sale. I didn't have to run a business. Awesome. Not when you're taking 10, 15 calls a day and doing follow-up and trying to active listen. Like, it's emotionally, mentally draining, even though I'm standing here just talking all day, because I'm totally tuned in and turned on to what they're saying. And then I get to share how, and then they get to tell me all their excuses or objections on why they can't or wouldn't or shouldn't today. But this is the important part of the personalized pitch. I don't care if you have the best program out there. I don't care if you have hired a copywriter to write out this beautiful pitch. If you don't personalize it and use some of the ammunition, I will call it, some of the golden nuggets, some of the juice that we got from the squeeze, and apply it to the pitch, apply it to your pillars, apply it to your phases, apply it to your roadmap, whatever you call it, they're probably not going to active listen in return. And if they're not listening, they're not hearing the value. The pitch is the only way to show them value. Authority at the beginning of the call, good quality questions. They're starting to trust you because you're like, wow, you're asking me some things other people haven't asked me before. And this seems like you care, and we should care. A sales call is an act of service. It's not just to collect money. And if that's how you're looking at it, then get out now, because you're giving this industry a bad rep. And I'm not okay with that, right? So when you're crafting a personalized pitch, it's not sounding like another thing that might work. It's sounding like the only way that will work, the only solution that they've been searching for who knows how long. 3 months is too long. 10 years is definitely too long, especially once you've helped thousands of people and it's like, you're not my first client. I'm so glad you're here. Like, thank goodness you don't have to delay this any longer. A personalized pitch is the only way they can actually feel connected to the value. And it eliminates any assumptions because you already know what they value and you're only sharing what they valued before. And if it's something that they're not having a challenge with, or it's not something related to their goal, but yet it's a part of your package, Let's not overwhelm them with too much. We do all of these things and you have access to all of this stuff, because overwhelm will kill the deal too. And when you actually ask them, did they hear the value throughout your pitch? They'll be selling themselves. But there's a skill to that. There's specific questions to include. There are ways to check in to see now if your prospect is active listening to what you're sharing and they're actually hearing the value. Because if they don't hear the value and you did this beautiful pitch and you personalized it, and they're like looking at their watch, checking their phone, looking out the window, thinking about their kid. Oh my gosh, the school just called. I have to go pick them up. Oh my gosh, the dog's barking. Delivery guy's here. What's he dropping off today? Distraction, 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 which leads to what? No active listening, delay. They don't hear or see the value, they aren't going to buy, even if it's the best deal in the world. So you must check in with your prospects. Make sure they are active listening to your flawless, personalized pitch and all the value they receive. And most importantly, that they hear that you're certain and they're now certain this is the only way to experience their desired goals, dreams that they shared with you at the start of the call. And how you ask them is what will be in sales codes. Womp womp, right? No, for real. Sales codes is coming out soon. There's going to be a whole module just on each one of these components and Google Sheets galore to go along with it that really simplify all of this. And you can take action on it right away and already increase your closing rate as much as 10 to 30+% right in that given week. I'm certain of it. So if you're personalizing the pitch so that your prospect not only hears the value, but sees it as a no-brainer. And when you drop the money or the price or the investment, I call it the money drop, they're like, wow, that's it? Because they hear so much value. They're like, oh, they're a little nervous. Like, oh, I think this is going to be a lot more than I expected. What's a lot more? What does that mean to you? And then when you tell them what a steal it is, and they're like, yeah, they're begging to sign up even before you money drop because they know no amount of money is going to keep them from getting started. And that's no longer an objection because the value is so clear. So again, if you want the other 3 components, you're going to have to wait for sales codes. Probably going to do sales codes live, but right now it's the course. Sales codes course will be ready very, very soon. I don't want to put a date because I don't want to put the pressure on myself. Nobody likes pressure, right? And I have a couple events that I'm attending and speaking at here at the end of this year, but it's going to be before the middle of October. Sales codes will be ready before the middle of October. And it's only going to be offered to people who are on my email list first at a heavily discounted rate. And then when I go public, the price will stick there for a while until I take it to its full price, January 1st, 2025. So again, if you want the other 3 components of a solid sales call, highly, highly, highly recommend. Message me in some way, get on my email list. Actually, go grab money codes. I'm giving away a module right now of money codes through the end of September on my link here in the show notes or in the comments somewhere, wherever you're watching. And it's a free module. It's normally $55 that is a part of money codes. And those who purchase in advance sales codes will get money codes for free. This is thousands of dollars in value. And why am I including money codes? Because most people give all their power away to money. I've done over thousands of sales calls, and most people and most closers allow money to be the reason they're not doing the thing versus helping them just say no because it's not a priority and be okay with that. And I can tell you, it's never about the money. It's about something else. It's never about the spouse. It's about something else. It's never about the time. It's never about needing to think about it. Those are just surface objections that get to one deep objection. And then we empower people to have a breakthrough right there on the call. And they say yes in their power and move forward and everybody's happy, or they say no and everybody's happy. Our job is to help people not regret saying yes and not regret saying no. So if you want those other components, let me know. Go back, listen to this, take notes, share with me something that you have learned, you're applying, what's working for you, what's not working for you. If you want more of this, let me know. If you want me to rant about any other sales topics, mindset topics, decision mastery topics, unlocking limiting belief type topics. As you know, my podcast is full of all the goodies. Go check it out. It's also now on YouTube. And I will leave you with that. Until next time, I'll send you off with so much love. Bye for now. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum.